but then it's more like a hook sweep, right? But from half guard, normally how we do from here. Yeah, maybe the what they call dog fight here, right? Maybe the dip half here, right? This is, the techniques that I could come here and just teach, okay, do this and that, show the details, it's nice. But remember that before to get that, he will try to avoid, and, I will try to get in a good position to, dive into that position. The most important, you see how you already like backwards, so that's hard for me. So first I need to work on, I get more you over me. But the most important is when I start to pull you and try to pull you here, if I don't protect my head, remember you hold, and there, right? So let's say if it's going backwards too much, then, if it's too much, I do, but sometimes it's hard to fight too much to pull you. So maybe I can change. I can start to put the hook. I can start to go back, sit, okay? And even like go here, stand up, using his energy against him because he's pulling backwards. So sometimes it's hard to pull him on me, especially if he's heavy, right? But if he's trying to control me, like coming forward, that's what I don't want. The head control, right? So actually there's 3 points here that I don't want. Head control, where else? Hips, I can, it's not problem if you have some of those spots. Remember we spoke about that, but I don't have at least 1 or 2 of those, right? So I don't want my shoulder flat. I do my head. This is all, all controls come from that, top control. So when he's half guard or he passed my guard, right? So you're gonna look from control my head, flat my shoulder, and maybe control my hips, Let's say if you talk about he does a body lock position, he's controlling my hips, and maybe he's pushing the head and flattening my back. He's not controlling my head, but it's making it harder for me. So you pay attention that mainly now I don't want you to control my head and my shoulder to the ground. So remember the position here is the same thing. I use this foot on the ground, the energy comes from here. And hide here, try to control, try to push my shoulder to the ground. Look. Okay? All my goal will be like almost turning my chest to the ground and come back here. And I want my shoulder spike here in his chest, right? Here.
Get to the front of it.
Exactly. Because, and especially my elbow pretty close, because if I open a little bit the elbow, go get the underhook here of my elbow. Yeah, you see this? This is a good control when he get under the elbow. And this is for many situations, jiu-jitsu, even back defense. So if I lift a little bit, go. Look, it's easy for you to let me out, let me down here. So here, look, I close my elbow and look, okay? That's why sometimes I like to do this, but you need to take care a little bit, because you open, okay? And frame is good, I like it, but sometimes when you're tired, it's hard to keep, holding here. So sometimes you just go, protect yourself, go. Good. And you're gonna fight to be here, almost in a fetal position here, protect. So I want you guys to play with that, understanding the energy from the foot, just the position, okay? You're not gonna do the sweep yet, just the position. Okay, let's go. Of the seminar, we stop a little bit for a Q&A. Of course, I can also, if the people still have, I like to put the tip of my knee here because it's even try to, it's even harder for you to come right on me. Let's say you're very long and short. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I do that, just to protect a little bit. But right now, I want you guys to feel here, because if I do that, it's a little bit hard to keep, sideways, because I don't have the foot on the ground, right here. But right now, I want you guys to be here. And now, the second thing I'm gonna work is with the level change, right? in order to go to his back or to go to the dog fight or something like that, I need to put my head on his belly. Okay? So if he's forcing and trying to put me on the ground, what's the main points here? My shoulder sideways, my head protect. So I protect the shoulder control and head control, right? And close my elbow. Never open. If I open, see, boom, you get here and you're gonna flatten me down. So my elbow is always the top left. The bottom elbow is a little bit more easier because the only thing he can do is try to pull your elbow up. Okay, but it's easier to protect. You don't want to stand too much, but it is more protected here. The problem is the top elbow, and people, you guys don't realize, but many times I'm pushing, and when I do that, I open a little bit, and you see, boom, and I get the control here. It's much harder. So my elbow is always protecting and connect on my ribs. And then what I'm gonna do here, if he's pushing, look, I will get under my arm here and I'm gonna go up. You see how I use my arm and then my knee leaves the ground and push, boom. And first you guys connect here, just behind his butt. Try to come back now. Yeah, hold my, do the overhook. You will overhook problem, but I want you guys just here. If you want to switch, you can, wherever you want, but I want you guys to don't let him pose the hand on your face, like frame here, yeah, like the forearm, and forearm on my face, forearm, yeah, like here and go backwards. You see here, you correct the level again, right? Come back. Correct your level now, look. I hide here. If he goes back, I can even put my elbow on the ground. So go, pull. If he doesn't, just try to go with your hand in front of my head. Try to control my head. Yeah. I want you guys just here, protecting, and so my shoulder goes from here to here, right? So I just gonna hide my head. And the person on top do a little resistance, try to go backwards, not too much, just to feel, okay? So we just positioning ourselves to choose what we want to do. But it's very, very important to understand this, I don't give up the side. Of course, sometimes I'm tired, but if I wanna have a good position, I don't give up the side, I don't give up my head, I keep my elbow tight, because the elbow is a secret for many, many things. When you open the elbow, when you separate the elbow from your body, you give a lot of options to the we're gonna talk about that after. Okay. So right now I want you guys work with this defense. People on top, they can go down. I go down? Yes. If I'm here, I start trying to push here, push. Yeah, what's up yeah, exactly. It's not wrong to push. You can push, but just be aware that people can do like this. You see? Or even go push. Or even like this. Boom. Okay? So, yeah, here. Good. And then, you see your shoulder was here, almost on my head. And then when you push up, you see, boom. And then I overhook, and I stay here. I try to come back. No, you don't need. Just try to move a little bit, try to push my hand here, but he's all the time directing away down. Okay? So I want you guys to give a good reaction when you're on top. It's not too much, but it's not too soft. Okay? And it should mimic a fight that vary like 10% of the energy. Okay? Let's go. Explain why there's a principle that helps you to do the position. So, but doesn't mean you cannot go to the lower back. You can go. If the people, sometimes the lower back helps you to, change the level. So you push the people far, and then you're able to change the level. Okay, so what I want now is just recap a little bit one thing and let you guys try the sweep with the person on top. Any sweep that you guys like, can be deep, can be dogfight, anything, okay? But with like 60-70% resistance for the people on top. It's not full power, but I want a little bit more resistance. So I'm not gonna tell about the sweep. I just want you guys to position yourselves there. We position ourselves in that position, and then we go from there. So we're gonna get here. Look, first I want to recap this. Look, you see, yeah, how he's pushing the weight on me. If he's pushing too much, of course I need to look for this. Okay, but come back a little bit. Now doesn't need knee on the ground. So Michelle was asking me about the hands here. Yeah. So no, doesn't need to be just here. Yeah, a little easy. Yeah. So put the knee on the ground. Yeah. So why sometimes I feel I do that as like a traditional frame, but sometimes I feel a little bit weak here because I lift my elbow. Okay, and you get underhook on my elbow. Yeah. Some people would on doing that. That's why nowadays I do a little bit more like this with the top hand. Okay, because I can protect better my elbow. There's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're using the knee and stuff, and I do that also. But just remember that you have a new option. You don't need to be just palm facing him all the time. Because if you go through my arm, sometimes, yeah, here, boom, I can protect. This is a good protection also here, right? The bottom arm, you know, like we said before, you can do both, you know. Sometimes I grab here, boom. Sometimes I just, if I'm too tired, I just protecting myself like this. And it's funny because I teach that to the students, and you know, very quick I be training with them, I'm having problems to control them on bottom. So that's I realized was very efficient and very quick. That's something that I want to teach here, because it's very quick to learn. Okay, the understanding of, okay, if I protect my head and I keep sideways, even sometimes, let's say I'm really, really tired, you flat me out, but I still here, look, control. Look, control my head, look. You see here, it's hard to control. And it's easy for me to escape again. So even if I'm flat, I'm really tired if I control. And like I said, you can, you know, sometimes switch here, go. Okay? Even here, total control. Okay? So pay attention to this hand fighting and then the level. So we're gonna get here now. Cool. He will just play a little bit, and I will trigger my elbow to his back. Boom. And when I do this, with my knee, and then you can hold here. Get your elbow, your bottom elbow connected, okay? And then look what I do. Instead of trying to go up here, I first I'm gonna go here. Then I like to switch the leg. Okay? Yeah. And then from here, I want you guys to get here. I will try to swing, he will try to defend. But like I said, he doesn't need to be crazy, it's just some movement to try to avoid, try to get the overhook. I want to see you guys do, okay? And then we come back to talk about the we just starting getting the position to start the sweep. We have the middle, the position, we don't have the finish. So we're just getting the first part. I want to see you guys doing the middle and the finish. Go. What I want for you guys now, so go down, pass, yeah. So he's here protecting, yeah. Like I said, it's no problem to do this. As far as you know, just be aware when you open this one, and for me to don't get under, right? So you can open, but be aware, keep close. Yeah, good. Okay, good, very good. The bottom one kind of doesn't matter. And when you do, sometimes we have the tendency just to push, okay? I like to pull. Pull is you know, the push I was explaining to you, right? About the guard. When you're doing guard, here, go down. Because this is we call arm guard. Who was Hachinho's student here? He was talking to me. Huh? Paulo, behind you. You train with Hachinho, remember? So Hachinho was the first guy to give me this concept of hand guard or arm guard. You know, the guard is not just your legs, it's your hands also, your arms, right? We think about the guard in jiu-jitsu, just the legs. And in boxing, we just think about the hands, but both are guards, right? So if you go down here, put your foot on my hips, okay? This is, you playing guard, right? Straight your foot, both, yeah, good. What is safer for you, here or when you bend? Exactly, right? Because it's straight, I just boom, and go to the side. Same with gi, no gi, doesn't matter, it's all the same thing, right? Same thing here, when I push, it's okay if I push, okay? But I get vulnerable for a while. It's okay if I push with the legs, but I cannot stay there still. It's okay if I push with my arms, but I cannot stay here, okay? If I'm a good athlete, maybe I can hold you gi, you know, I hold you for like 2 minutes here. But, you know, you must agree that it's not the best, the most sharp technique, right? So, I'm here, sorry, half guard, okay? And now, the second thing he gotta do so is be sideways, can have this foot on the ground. If he, you know, if he doesn't have the shield here, he can have the foot on the ground, escape the hips a little bit. Yeah, be sideways, perfect, protecting the head, shoulder up, elbow close. Then he get deep on the level change, go. Good, he goes here, boom, push me forward. You see how right away I get the overhook, right? So I'll get the overhook, and he tries, his shoulder got to slide more towards this hip bone. Exactly, you see here the difference? If you here, come back. Here, it's kind of hard for you. It's a bomb. Watch out. So, here is better for me if I try to keep backwards here. Okay, and from here, his game is to try to keep me forward. So we're gonna start here really deep. That's why some people like to pull the deep half guard, you know, like your hand here, pull me forward, yeah, and then sweep from here, or even come back to the first one, because it's just a way to, okay? So we're gonna start from here, and I will try to defend, okay? And he will try to go to my back or sweep. But right now, let's do like this. I cannot using the overhook. I will need to defend just by positioning myself. Go. Go. Go to my back, go to my back. Good, see? Okay, good. Go, go. Don't try to get your head, come back. Look, your head is down here. That's why you don't need to, yeah, now go to my back. Good, go, go, go. Yeah, that's it, okay? The most important thing to go to the back is not to take your head out. You should lower your head, and then you go, the head is free, okay? So now I want the person on top to try to defend, but knees on the mat, exactly, because I don't want people standing up. So knees on the mat and hands on the mat, just with positioning and posturing yourself, okay? And the person on bottom will go to the back, doesn't need to put the hooks, go to the back or sweep, okay? I wanna see you guys do. Now we can do a little bit more free, okay? Let's go. Here is to understand quicker the technique. We have just 1 hour and a half. So when I do that, I make you guys realize that it's all about level change. If I add the overhook, it would be much harder, because then we're gonna talk about that now, but without the overhook, you know, if you do the level change correctly, you go to the back. Then if the person goes, can you help? So if you down here, if you're on bottom, right? So if you go, you do yeah, I don't do the overhook here. I can try to go backwards, but look, go, yeah, he just go to my back, right? So he's working with his level change, okay? If come back, if he tries to go to my back and I put the weight too much on him, look, I go to this side, okay? But of course, when the person put the overhook, it changes everything. And that, you know, start to get what we call, the people call dog fighting, right? And, you know, I never had a big problem with jiu-jitsu guys, of course, high-level jiu-jitsu guys, yes, but when I started to train a lot of wrestlers, like high-level wrestlers, like Olympic wrestlers, Olympic level medalists, world champions, and judo guys in Brazil, we have like, a lot of Olympic judo guys. Then, it's a little bit harder when you get, especially when you get to the waist. And I was discussing and talk a lot with some wrestlers, friends, and judo guys, because I use this sweep a lot, not just in jiu-jitsu, sport jiu-jitsu, but that's the sweep that I use the most also in MMA. This one and the heel hook sweep, when you have the butterfly and go to the heel hook to use as a sweep, not as a submission. Yeah, we pull the people on top and go to the heel hook. But this one I use even more, this half guard sweep, because I protect my head against punches, and I use that a lot in sport jiu-jitsu. That's why for me it was easier to just translate to MMA. So, I study a lot, and one thing that we understand is we gotta, work with this overhook here. And if you here really tight, it's very hard. So I need to find a way to make you open the angle, okay? So one more time, it's not easy, it will take time. I think, if you understand, the most important thing of this class is to understand your head protection, the side position, and level. And from now, we go to the intermediary part of the sweep when he get the overhook. So I'm here, look. So I'm protected here, okay? Once I go here, normally he already closing his elbow here, right? You see your elbow is not really, yeah, you see? That's helping you to pull him forward, okay, and hold. And look what I do. I switch to the top leg here because I want this leg free, okay, the bottom. If I lock with this leg, it's kind of hard to go on top because I lock myself. So I want to keep this one here, because then it's easier if I need to go on top to pull the bottom one. I need to have one leg before his leg, so it's the outside leg. Okay? So I start normally here, boom, and then I start to go up. Yeah, you see he's giving me a good reaction. He's not, because some people they have this too soft. So when you yeah, they don't even let your hand go, and then it's kind of not real. So it's important that he close a little bit the elbow just to give me the feeling of pulling forward. Then he overhooks, and then I go, look, I switch. So I was here, okay. Look what I do here. My knees behind. Try to go back. Look. My knees blocking. You see? And my hand. Now I'm gonna switch. Okay, keep your knee on the ground. Go backwards. And now look, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do with my hand facing down. Look. Here behind this butt and close. Go backwards now. Look. Go backwards. If you go too much, I can even sit. If you go too much and sit, I can start to push. Go there. But I would like to feel that position now. Okay? So, protecting sideways, my elbow is closed here. One, he sits a little bit backward. I push, pull. Close with my knee here and switch. Okay? And then here. And you see my hand here, I don't need to have this hand here because this is to protect the hand, but now my level, hold my hand. You see, even if I push here, can you hold my hand? Okay, so we're gonna start to get here, as your opponent try to go back here. No way. No too much, no. Just sit with me. Okay, I'm gonna just feel this movement. Okay, triangle. Common one when the people hold you up and do the ultimata, or just post and everybody stay in that dog fight and nobody can do nothing. It's just an even position, right? That's the first one. The second one. I wasn't teaching, but somebody asked me about the guillotine. That's very important also. With the people, it's good in guillotine. and they go to the guillotine. How you deal with that? So those 2 points are the crucial. How you're gonna finish the sweep or going to the back, it's not the focus today, but we're gonna do, of course, but the focus is like the process of getting there. And actually, I've been saying this a lot in the seminars that, it's so important to focus on the process and not in the final thing that you want to do. Because if I say, okay, half guard, try to sweep, you just think I need to sweep, but you don't think like, okay, I need to first protect here, right? So we focus on the process. First I protect my head, then I sideways, I protecting my elbow. So I'm in a good position. Now I'm gonna lower my level. Okay, now I lock here, stop, think a little bit. Then, suddenly things are going to start to work. Even if I teach you just this that we teach till now, you can figure out, right? But if you think about just the sweep, you're going to make so many mistakes. Then you're not going to be able. In the end of the day, one thing that I always like you guys to remember is to focus on that process. Don't focus on what I need to do, right? And what is, I need to sweep or I need to sweep. No, I need to get my shoulder here. I need to position myself here. I need to do this. The same with escapes. I have somebody on my back, sometimes somebody on my side. I don't need just explode like crazy to escape. I could do that, but I open more, gaps and possibilities for my opponent. But if I need, okay, he's in my back already, so I need to position myself here, maybe try to slide my back to the ground. I stop here. I don't let the person pulls me back, this kind of thing. The same with this, okay? So, so now, okay, let's deal a little bit with the overhook. So I'm here, okay? Look, I go here, boom. Yeah, he overhooks right away. I go up. No, let me go. Boom, just overhook, overhook. Yeah, up, boom, here. Okay, you see, I like to lift my shoulder, switch, and get here, look, behind. You see how it's a little twist, but I'm not even worried, okay? If you lift that leg here, sometimes just by pulling up and scooping the hip in, you're able to sweep to the other side. Okay, that happens, but right now, let's say I'm able to slide my elbow under me and put that elbow on the ground, okay? And then I go to the dog fight position. So I sit on this leg here because I don't want you to kick away and run, right? That happens more in MMA than in Jiu-Jitsu. But in Jiu-Jitsu, most people try to stand up, yeah, exactly, and go to the front headlock. So I don't want that. That's why when I go here, I sit and my hand goes deep, holding his, you see here? As I sit and also I hold here. It's hard for you to kick, right? Yeah. And now, look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do two things. One, I'm gonna go a little bit here. Okay, yeah. And my hand, you see if my hand was here, exactly, you pull me forward. So what I'm gonna do is like close this angle here. Yeah, as much as you can here. Exactly. This is bad for me, right? So if I'm here, I put the back of my arm here on your arm, and then I'm gonna sit backwards, try to pull me forward now. It's harder, right? If I lock behind your butt, it's much harder than here. Yeah, exactly. Go now, look. And my hand push me backwards. Now look. My elbow start to go to the ground. Hold tight. You see? And now look what I do. You see here? No, keep. Put the knee on the ground. You see, I stretch a little bit your leg, the bottom leg, and start to push my elbow to the ground and hold here. You see? Look. I pull backwards. Look. You see? Okay. One more time, I'm not even thinking about the sweep, I'm thinking about positioning. Don't think about the sweep. Don't think about I need to go on top, I need to sweep, I need to go to the back. Think about, but he gave me a right reaction, like Roppy, trying to, really keep high, because that's the reaction that you guys gonna get. Okay? So it's all about, you see, I stretch your leg here, I kind of make you do like this. At the same time, I'm dropping my elbow to the ground. Because when I drop in my elbow, your hand starts to do like this. Open this angle. And then in one point, you almost want to release and give up the back, right? And maybe pull, jump doing guard, right? And then I did what I want, which is the sweep. So let me do the other side, then you guys can see also. So I'm here. Well, you can have this knee here if you want or not, but once I go with my hand, boom, yeah, he gets here, and you see how I switch here, boom, and my hand goes here, try to go back. It's hard, right? Yeah. Then I start to pull my bottom elbow here, boom. Look, this is the first step here. Try to hold my head or something. No way, yeah. Okay, I'm explaining here, but actually I want my head here, not here, right? Here I'm explaining. Also because he can grab, he can pose his forearm on my face. Yeah, exactly, and get space, come back, exactly. A good wrestler will do that. You know, in MMA he can punch me, right? Boom. So I wanna come back. Have here. Here you cannot punch, you cannot, or there is no effective punches, right? And then I go here, look, hold the bottom and sit. Once you guys sit here, look, the first goal here is the back of I turn my hand here, start to slide down. See? Start, yeah, you see?
That's killing it.
Yeah, and I'm not even good. Hide the head, hide the head, hide the head, hide. Good. Now go deeper here. Good. And then go on your knees. Good. Go on your knees. Pull them backwards. This knee. Pull backward. Yeah. Now try to put your elbow on the ground. Good. You see? Force. Guys, look. 1 second here. And keep the control of the leg, because the only thing I don't want is to lose the control and people go in front of me and do a front headlock. Okay, can you help me? So I'm here. Okay, so one thing that I realize here is like, so okay, I'm here protecting, boom, I get here, boom, up, switch, go down, rub my arm, good. And then I start to put my elbow on the ground, go on top, boom, okay? If, look, what you see my elbow here? So I'm gonna pulse my elbow till the tip of my elbow touch the ground. You see, that's, if I need, I pulse my hand open a little bit, it's getting uncomfortable, you see? Look, if he sits there, I just push. Nice feel. But it's important, tip of the elbow, the goal is to go to the ground. The other important thing is like, I want to control this leg here. If he tries to kick the leg. No, to run away. Look, I want to hold here. I want to sit here. Because if you get a guillotine here, go. There is no problem. Can you get a guillotine here? Oh, if he does, I get on his side. There's no guillotine. The only way he will get guillotine, and I know because I passed through that, is like, if you get the guillotine, you get desperate and you forget to control the leg. What will defend the guillotine is the leg control. So, if I go here, it goes to the guillotine here, boom, okay? If you go to the guillotine here, okay? And I'm keeping the leg control here, it's all about positioning. Okay, so there's no problem, there's no guillotine here. If you push guard, I will just go on top. So if I sit, look, no, stay there. Look, if you pull, yeah, pull now, pull. Look. Sit for the guillotine. Look, is there any guillotine here? No, right? Because I'm on his side. The basic principle of defending the guillotine is that if your head is one side, you go to the other side. The problem is, that I know because that happens to me, like I said, when you go, with high-level wrestlers, if they got the guillotine, they start to put pressure. So I forget, and they, I kind of fight the leg, and then here there's a guillotine. Because now he's in front of you. So what will defend the guillotine is trust in the position. You don't even need to defend the leg. You trust that if you parallel with the person, guillotine is not gonna work. There's no way. Let's say we're not gonna even grab. I do a guillotine here parallel to him. I need to be here, right? In front of him. So if I control, keep the leg control, there's no way he's gonna be in front of me. If you feel that, you're gonna defend right away. If you feel the leg escape, you're gonna be right away, aware of that. And try to defend and try to pull the head or do any defense that you have. But if I keep the head, you see, there's no efficiency. If I keep parallel with you in the dog fighting here, if I'm able to get here, get the guillotine here. Don't pull, just stay here. Can you choke me here? Go. No way. Okay. So if you try, go, and plus go to the chokes. Plus if I push you, look. Can you choke here? No. Okay. So those two things I want you guys to invest a little bit more. And we're gonna have 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes Q&A. But I want you guys to pay attention to this. Tip of the elbow to the ground. So in order to do that, what helps me a lot is I like to go, instead of go with this, the hand facing me, I go with the hand facing backwards and then to the ground. And then I stretch a little bit to open space and go. Look, hand on the ground. Let me stretch if I need. I want to be here. You see here, you're weak, right?
Yeah.
I can push you, I can maybe, even the clean here is easier because the arm is. Okay, let's try just a little bit. Go.